Hello and welcome to UnJustified, where we always cover the truth, the facts, the good, the bad, the ugly, on an unbiased and sometimes very unpopular opinion. Today I want to talk about something that I've been having many questions on, been seeing lots of questions in various random groups around, and it seems there is a lot that some of the newer people, and maybe even some of the ones that's been here for a little bit, are getting misinformation about. And keep in mind, when I go over these things with you, I'm not accusing, I'm not suggesting, or any of the above, anything like that. I'm merely going to state the facts. I'm going to show you the facts, and then you're welcome to have whatever opinion that you have of your own on the subject. And what we're going to be talking about right now in this video, and I hope it helps some people to kind of have a better understanding into the case, because there definitely was not enough of it touched on in the Netflix documentary. The thing of it is it was barely even glossed over in the documentary, which I find, given the whole concept and reasoning of the Netflix documentary is for it to give Shanann a voice, then I can sort of understand why it was just sort of glossed over. You know, I give it that, because with Shanann's voice, she couldn't have talked about this area of the case very in depth, because unfortunately she didn't know. I believe in my heart that she completely assumed it and maybe even entertained the idea in her head, but she didn't want to believe it as much as she couldn't believe it. And that area I want to cover and try to maybe clear up some questions that I've been seeing, as well as misinformation that has been put out. That's what I'm going to try to do, and I do hope this helps some people, somebody, because I really, I have talked about this so much, you know, and it is in my videos as well. At the same time, there's no way that newer people that's coming in has had a chance to sit and watch all my videos, and I know some of them has. Some of them has, and some of them's beginning to get a better understanding. But I'm just going to try to wrap up some of the biggest ones that I have seen recently in this little video. I'm going to try really hard for this video not to be long. I'm just going to kind of touch base on it, on certain things, but I'm not going to go into hardcore detail. Okay? But I can promise you this. Everything I tell you in this video will be truth and facts, and you're more than welcome to fact check me on anything I'm about to tell you. Nicole Kessinger. Contrary to popular beliefs, from what was talked about and known on the documentary, she played a larger role, and I'm not saying she had anything to do with anything, okay? You will have to make that opinion for yourself. I can't make that opinion for you, nor do I want to. I want you to have your own opinion. But you need to know the truth and the facts before you can make your opinion, because assuming is never good. So, let me go over a few of the truth and the facts of things that I have talked about, as I said before, and hopefully I'm going to be able to help just a little bit in some of the misconceptions and things of the such. Okay, we were going to start with this, and I know this really confused a lot of you, because you're just coming into it from the Netflix, and then boom, we hear about this. Nicole Kessinger has reportedly applied to change her name after being linked to the murder of Chris Watts. I have saw, why would she be linked? I mean, she was just a mistress, you know. I mean, there's probably mistresses listening to me right now, right? I mean, You ain't got to admit it to me, and you ain't got to admit it to nobody else, but I can assure you there is, or they have at some point been a mistress, you know. And then we even have the ones that despise a mistress just because they're the mistress, because they have been on the receiving end of their husband having a mistress. So you got both sides. You got both sides of that conflict of interest right there, which in a lot of people's eyes, that would immediately, without knowing anything else about the case, that would immediately make you think, well, she's just a mistress. She's really not, I mean, yeah, she slept with a married man. You know, that's it. What's the big deal? She said she didn't even know he was married. I mean, you know. So actually, she's kind of like Amber Fry. She's a victim too. Okay, one, wrong answer. I'll just say that real quick. Okay, and two, over here, you got this other side, right? You got these wives that just hearing the word mistress scorns them. Oh my God. Because maybe they lost their husband to a mistress. Maybe the mistress destroyed their marriage and a relationship. Believe me, we have them listening to us too. You know, so it's so easy to put your emotions into a case. Either she's not bad or she's a home-wrecking hoe. I mean, just to be blunt honest, you're going to have these two. But then you're going to have the ones right in the middle that hasn't dealt with the home-wrecking hoe and hasn't dealt with being the mistress. So you got those two. And those are not quick to jump either side. They're just like, well, you know, she didn't know, right? So they, from what they know and from them being new, they're going to probably automatically assume, well, you know, she was a victim too. No, that's the wrong answer. And we're about to get into that. So, and I hope I can clear up a little bit of things for you here before you actually go have to listen to all of the interviews and read the discovery. Maybe just this quick, fact-based talk will let you know some things. And believe me, you can write down anything I say. You can go fact-check me in discovery interviews. I don't care. Because one thing about me, I'm not going to jump it out there if it isn't fact. And everybody that knows me already knows that's true. But just believe me, anything I tell you or fact-check me, doesn't matter. But I hope I'm going to be doing some help right here. So let's start with the ping, the phone ping, the infamous phone ping. Today in a live, I actually heard something that I've never heard before, and they were saying, oh, it wasn't a cell phone ping, it was from something else. I don't even remember what they were saying, because this phone record makes it pretty obvious that it was definitely from a cell phone tower. I mean, I've never even heard no one else say it wasn't a cell phone tower, so I'm not really sure where that comes from. But anyway, okay, August the 12th, 9:28 p.m., she called Chris. No, Chris called her. It was an incoming call, I'm sorry. Chris called her at 9:28 p.m., August the 12th. 111-minute call. So that's nearly, almost, very close to 2-hour call. So if she called, or if he called her at around 9:30 p.m., Shanann got home at 1:48 a.m. So this call lasted close to almost the time Shanann got home. But neither one of them remembers anything they talked about. Nothing. Nicole says it was probably just random stuff, nothing to be concerned about. Chris says he really don't even remember the phone call either, which is ironic because definitely when you listen to Nicole's interviews, she remembers all kinds of things. Even before this phone call, way before this phone call, back when they very first got together, she remembers things. But she don't remember nothing about this phone call, which she's got amnesia to this particular call just an hour before everything happened. August the 13th, 6:16 a.m. She pings Frederick, Colorado, calling her friend Jim. Now, if you've heard about Lee me alone, Jim. Well, that's who they're referring to, Jim. 1 minute. So, that said, either she got his voicemail and he didn't answer, or she just said something really quick to him, and that was it. You know, just 1 minute. It's not known if he actually answered, and it's not known if they actually spoke for 1 minute, but we all know 1 minute is the least that can be applied to the bill and the record, whether there was an answer or answer machine or an actual conversation. 1 minute. If it went over 1 minute, at least over the halfway mark, I think it would go on to 2, but no, it was 1 minute or less. 6:16 a.m., Frederick, Colorado. So, Chris lives in Frederick, Colorado, right? Chris left his house at 5:45 a.m. the morning of August the 13th. Now, a lot of people think that's really not a big deal. This phone ping, it's really not a big deal. Well, it is a big deal, because this is only the 4th time she had ever pinged in Frederick, Colorado in the last few months, besides those 4 times. Those 4 times, she was at Chris's house. She admitted 2 of them that she was at Chris's house. And here's another kicker. This is the only time she pinged in Frederick in the morning, as well as definitely a day they both had to go to work. It's the only morning. Take it for what you will. At 3:32, again, she called her friend Jim. They talked 6 minutes. Now, she got off of work at Anadarko at 3. We know this because there is absolutely proof, and the FBI seen this proof as far as I know, that she did clock out at Anadarko at 3 p.m. But there is no record of her clocking in that morning. So what time she actually clocked in that morning is unknown. Don't know. There's no record of it. Okay, everything else down there you see in blue is her calling Chris on August the 13th. She called him at 5:01, 5:02, 9:48, 11:09, and look at the last 2 late calls. I mean, it's like she hung up almost and call right back. And she did say that in her interview. She said she was very, very worried about his family, and she couldn't sleep, so she just kept calling him back to back, is what she said. There was also a call that one of the officers placed to Chris, asking him if he had heard anything else, or what was the girls like, and shenanigans, marks, their hair color, their height, their weight, all that kind of thing. Well, when they first called Chris on his personal phone, it would answer. It's like Chris would answer and it would go to dead air and it would just hang up. This happened twice when the officer was trying to call him. I have that video on the channel as well. It's Officer Goodman trying to contact Chris. Then Chris calls back Officer Goodman, but on his work phone. He tells Officer Goodman that his personal phone, he don't know what's wrong with it. It's just not working right, whatever. I can't remember the exact excuse he said why he couldn't call him back on his personal phone, so he had to call him back on his work phone. Well, the reason he couldn't call him back on his personal phone is because he was talking to Nicole on his personal phone. At the same time, he was talking to Officer Goodman on his work phone. So it leads one to wonder, why did he answer twice and it went to dead air? And then why did he choose to call back on his work phone? Why not just get off of the phone with Nicole and call him back on the personal phone? Well, some of the speculation to that is maybe he put his work phone on speaker so she could listen from the personal phone. Who knows? But at any rate, they were on his personal phone having a conversation when he was talking to Officer Goodman on his work phone. Now that's all fact. You can fact check me. You can go to the video and I have all the proof right there in it. Also, Nicole was so worried and upset But at the same time, she also said on this day in her first interview, she said she told him it's not a big deal. I mean, she's probably going to come back. She's just probably out with a friend. She probably just needs to get away. It's not a big deal. She probably left her phone because she didn't want to be bothered. I do that myself. Now, that's what she said in her first interview. And then when she was asked about all these calls in like the next interview or two, she's like, well, yeah, I was calling him back to back because I was worried. I was worried about his family. Now, that's after the fact that she had done told him, go pawn a ring. You know, he said, hey, what should I do with this ring? What do you think it's worth? And she said, I don't know, go pawn it. And, you know, yeah. But I feel like this ping is important. Many people don't think it's anything. Not many people. Let me scratch that. Some people don't think it's anything and think it's just a fluke. And she just wanted to ride by that house that morning just to see if maybe he was going to go in late and spend some time since Shanann was home. Well, I personally have my doubts on that. But, you know, who knows, right? We don't truly know. That's why I said in the beginning, I will give you the facts, but you have got to make your own opinion because I can't do that for you. And whatever your opinion may be, I will respect it, I promise you. We may agree to disagree. That's okay. That's a good thing. But I will respect it. But we don't bash on each other here. We don't come at each other saying, oh, you're an idiot. Oh, you're stupid. And this is a drama-free channel. We're unbiased. And as long as we're not bashing, bullying, belittling, or completely throwing some crazy conspiracy theory out there, as long as we're stating our opinion based off of the facts as we see them and understand them, then I encourage your opinion. I want to hear it. Here is another little segment that is actually of interest as well. This comes from anetv.com. This is all from the Discovery, and Kessinger deleted Watt's contact information as well as their text and call logs from her phone before contacting local police to discuss their affair. Now, did you get that? Before contacting the police, she deleted, reset her whole phone, even destroyed her SIM card. Okay? Still relics from the relationship can be found in the Discovery, including texts, love letters, phone logs, photos of the two together on overnight trips. They used an app called the Secret Calculator to send each other nude selfies, private messages, and more. Okay, this app, the Secret Calculator, Nicole actually told Chris about this app, told him to download it on his phone, and while he was in North Carolina, she could still send him pictures he could save. Well, now she will say that while he was in North Carolina, she told him to fix his marriage. Go fix your marriage. You got a beautiful family. You don't need to just give up on this. Now, you will hear her say that. However, the entire time he was in North Carolina, she was blowing up his phone with text, nude photos. There was even one account where he did not answer her quickly enough in a text. She immediately texted him back and said, oh, guess you're with her. Her being his wife, that she supposedly told him to go fix his relationship with. Take it for what you will. It's absolute fact. Again, let's go back to her deleting all of these texts and call logs and destroying her SIM card before she met with the cops on August the 15th at 5:30 p.m. They asked her why she'd done that. Her answer was, and I may not be wording it exactly word for word, but it'll be damn close. Her reasoning for deleting everything was, I wanted him out of my life. I was grossed out by him. I wanted nothing else to do with him. I wanted to erase him from my life. That was what she told the FBI of why she deleted everything. Which, Could be understandable, I guess, right? I mean, it's plausible. Keep this in mind. She only deleted them all right before she went to see them after she searched. How long can cops trace deleted text messages? Something to that effect. Also, she searched something to this effect. If a text message is deleted, how long does it take for the actual body of the text to be seen in phone records? Yes, she did search all of this. Absolutely. She also searched Amber Fry's network. She also searched Amber Fry's book deal. She also searched, do people hate Amber Fry? Okay, now we know who Amber Fry is. She really was a victim. I mean, she even came forward and publicly apologized to the families for being involved in something she knew nothing about. I have a lot of respect for Amber Fry. But why would she search those? Was she comparing herself to Amber Fry? And why else would you search for Amber Fry unless you are comparing yourself to her, right? Especially at such a critical moment. Okay, Amber Fry was the mistress, correct? But she did not know this. I will give her that credit. She did not know she was the mistress. Back then, we didn't have Facebook. We didn't have social media. So, granted, I believe her. At the same time, what did the married man she was seeing, what did he do? He killed his pregnant wife. Scott Peterson, we all know. He killed his pregnant wife. Pregnant wife. But yet she says she has no clue that Shanann was pregnant until she saw it on the news after all this happened. But yet she did Google this about Amber Fry before she went to the cops. So why on earth would she compare herself to Amber Fry? There's many mistresses out there. There's lots of bad things that happens in a love triangle. Why Amber Fry exactly? Because his wife was pregnant and that's what made that such a big deal? If she didn't know that Shanann was pregnant, then why not Google a different mistress? There's so many love triangles out there. It is unreal, and none of them ever usually turns out well. But no, she chose Amber Fry. And you can take that as you will. I don't know of another way to look at it other than, in her mind, when she done that search, she was comparing herself to Amber Fry, right? I mean, that's the way I see it. And if you don't see it that way, that's fine. But that is the way I see it. Okay. Oh, and another thing I wanted to mention about her deleting everything except, everything on her phone. Another reason I wanted to kind of stand out, the reason she said she deleted everything on her phone. He grossed her out. He was disgusting. She wanted him out of her life and wanted to think nothing more about him, wanted to see nothing else from him, wanted to completely forget he existed, right? That's what she said. That's why she did it. That's what she told FBI. Here's the kicker to think about. How come she kept his clothes that was left at her house, seeing that he did live with her for 6 weeks, 5 weeks? How come she kept those? And how come she kept all those written cards and letters that he had given to her for her birthday and just random? Why would she keep that? It would seem like something handwritten and hand-picked out, such as a card, would give her more of a feel and a sense and a remembrance of him than a text message, right? You would think. So why didn't she get rid of that as well? Why didn't she take that and throw it in the nearest dumpster, rip it all to hell and throw it in the garbage? Why? Because if you're a woman that mad and you're deleting everything in your phone because you are disgusted with him, he grosses you out, just the mere thought of him makes you want to puke, are you going to keep his clothes and really personal things he's written you and hand-picked cards, are you? Or are you just going to say, no, I'll just keep that stuff, but these texts are very, very personal. Well, maybe the texts were very personal, but come on now, his clothes, think on that a minute, because she did keep it, because she actually took it with her to the interview and gave it to them. to a different interview. She took it and handed it over to them because everything she brought from her house that belonged to Chris was entered into evidence because she turned it in. Okay, that is a fact. You can fact check me. Even the cards, you can even see them online. I mean, Google them. They're in the Discovery as well. That she chose to keep, but everything in the phone, delete, delete, destroy the SIM card. Another thing, she told Chris to delete everything in his phone as well. When she was asked, why did you tell Chris to delete everything in his phone as well? Do you know what her answer was? Her answer was, so his friends wouldn't see it and know he was having an affair. Okay, his friends? So how many men do you know that just hand their friend their phone all the time and say, look, here's my code to get my phone. Feel free to read all my text while you're at it. And if these things don't make you question some things, then, great. Tell me why they don't. The night before Shanann, or the Saturday night before Shanann was to come home on Monday morning, they had a date. For this date, Nicole done some very odd Google searches. She actually Google searched how to prepare for anal sex. She also Google searched double penetration, and then she got hung up there and watched a porn on double penetration for quite a while. Just before Chris got back from North Carolina, fixing his marriage like she told him to, she spent 4 hours Googling wedding dresses. I mean, is this all coincidence? If you think it is, I understand. But is it? Now, this is on ANETV.com, so you're welcome to come and look at this article, and you can even fact check them as well. It's all in the Discovery. Here's a big one I want to get to. Though she claimed she didn't know that Watts was married, the Discovery shows that she Googled Shanann Watts in 2017, more than a year before she started her affair with Chris. Now, see, A&E's got this wrong, and I'm glad they got it wrong. I'm very glad they got this wrong, okay? Super glad they got this wrong, because now I can point out why they've got it wrong. This is an old article, okay? So thank God they got this wrong, and I don't have to go into all that detail. Okay. However, the records supervisor at the Frederick Police Department told Crime Online this was a typo, and it was reportedly supposed to read September the 2018. Do you know how many times that I have heard in the last week, I can't count that high, that this particular Google search of September of 2017 was a typo? Do you know how many times I've heard that? Any of you that thinks this was a typo, before I show you that it's not, I want you to do something for me. I want you to think about this. When did these murders occur? August the 13th, 2018, right? So if it was a typo for September of 2018, you see where I'm going with this. August comes first, then September, right? So how is it morally possible that in August of 2017, how is it morally possible that in August 2018, when Nicole gave them her phone and they done all these searches on it, please tell me how it was September of 2018 that Nicole done these searches when the FBI got her phone in August of 2018. And I'm not condoning anybody for, just reading that, well, yeah, that's possible. But I was the same way. I'm not kidding. I was the same way. When I read that was a typo, I thought, oh, okay. But then something clicked. I'm like, there's no way that could have been a typo. It's not possible for her to have been Googling in September of 2018. That's after the murders. That's after Chris had done confessed. That's after she supposedly deleted him from her life. She didn't even have the phone. The FBI had it. So how on earth could that have been a typo? I'm going to go ahead and show you that it absolutely wasn't a typo. I'm going to show you Rourke what he said himself about that. And we're just going to start. Greeley Police Detective Michael Priel authored the report that included a single entry of a September the 1st, 2017 search for Shanann Watts. A Frederick Police Detective David Baumover authored the report. They referenced multiple deleted searches for Chris and Shanann Watts. Following a series of email exchanges and phone calls with the Weld County District Attorney's Office regarding the reports, Crime Online spoke by phone to Weld County District Attorney Michael Rourke on Monday. If you're not familiar really with who Rourke is, well, he is the DA that stood up in the sentencing and told everything about the way that he drug them out like trash, and he was the prosecutor. He was the prosecutor for the most part. He's the DA. Rourke said that the reports reflect what was shown in the forensic analysis of Nicole Kessinger's phone. The dates to which you are referring in 2017, where it appears that she Googled or otherwise searched Shanann, was data that came off of her phone. And this is what Rourke said. It's not a typo error in the report. The detectives are reporting what was contained in the data from her phone. I don't know the answer to the question of why or how those dates ended up in her phone. Well, there's only one way. She had to have done it, correct? Either her or somebody that used her phone for a second. Hey, can I use your phone? Make a call. No, it was her that done those searches. After the district attorney's office was questioned or planned to question Kessinger about the data, suggesting she was aware of Chris and Shanann Watts for up to a year before the murders, Rourke said that Chris Watts' guilty plea precluded any need to further probe the result of the forensic analysis on Kessinger's phone. We did not get to the point in our investigation of attempting to independently verify that or not, because Chris Watts pled guilty. When you ask me if I have verified that information, the answer to your question is no. Nicole Kessinger told us that she met and stayed in the relationship with the defendant in 2018. So where that comes from, I cannot answer you. I do not know the answer to it. Rourke said the prosecutors are confident in the results of the murder investigation, which is closed. I have absolutely no reason to investigate Nicole Kessinger at this point in time, he says. This is not a witch hunt. My job is to investigate and prosecute who was responsible for the deaths of Shanann, Bella, Celeste, and Nico. We have done that. I have no further information nor any belief that any other criminal defendant is out there who is responsible for their death in any way, shape, or form. Okay, he tells you that all investigations stopped on Nicole because Chris pled guilty, which therefore says all of these things that has come about, the phone pings, the phone calls, the search a year prior, questions, it was dropped because she wasn't questioned or looked at any farther the minute Chris made his plea. The minute Chris said, I'm guilty, all investigations stopped. Nothing was looked into farther of anyone else being involved whatsoever. Whether there is possible suspicion that there could have been others. It was all just shut, done. No need to look any further. We got somebody. Now think on that a minute. Please don't tell me that's a typo again. Okay, I said I did not want this video to get long, but it got a little longer than I had planned, that's for sure. There's more things, and you're going to come across more things. But there's just to be honest, there's just so many that it's literally hard to just point them all out and think about them all at one time. But these are some of the main ones that I have saw around, and just some of the facts and points that I wanted to touch on. And the reason so is simply because it was shortly, like a day or two after the Netflix came about, that she did apply for this name change. A lot of people wonder, why did she wait so long? Why didn't she do it when she was begging to do it and begging the FBI's to help her do it when she was being interviewed? Well, that's a good question. Why didn't she? Another thing that I haven't seen talked about a lot, but also absolutely did cross my mind, is not only when she's applied for this name change, not only is it only a day or so after the Netflix documentary, also a day or so after it was leaked that Chris is planning to file a 35C. So did him filing the 35C, the Netflix documentary, did one of those have any reason why she decided to do it now instead of 2 years ago? Or was it a combination of both, maybe? Because if you're unaware what this 35C is he plans to file, I've got a video on that as well. You're welcome to go look at it. I explained and I showed the detail of what that actually is. But just to kind of brief it up and be honest, before an attorney or a forensic investigator or anything would even contemplate putting their name and reputation on the line for Chris Watts, of all people, to help him file something like that, he would have to have some hardcore, provable proof and evidence that he's innocent, right? I mean, really. I mean, he's got 5 life sentences. He's never getting out. He has already confessed and testified 2, 3 times, however you want to look at it, that he did it himself with no help. The only way to contemplate him even getting out is he would have to have solid rock proof. And I'm not talking about hearsay. And I'm not talking about a character witness. I'm talking about rock solid proof that he's innocent. Beyond a reasonable doubt kind of proof. And he thinks he has that. And obviously, this forensic investigator thinks he must have it too, because he's absolutely talking to him and he says they will not stop. They will appeal it. And no, he didn't say, Chris, you appeal it, you appeal it. No, he said we. If they deny us, we'll appeal it. If they'll deny us, we'll appeal it. So there you go. There's you a few things to think about, ponder on some of the things you may be seeing up there and some of the things you may have questions on. Right here, you see that right across the top here. You can click on that, and that is my playlist. All the random things and facts and proof I have about Nicole. Of course, I have them about everybody. I'm not just pinning, pegging her out. I mean, she's part of the case, so I've definitely got her playlist there. Her interviews, my thoughts and opinions, and I even have a little series exposing the Mistress. It's all there. Feel free to check it all out before you make any kind of final decision. If you don't already have your opinion, and even if you do have your opinion, check it out anyway. You may see something in there that really shocks you. Alright, guys. I appreciate all your support. If you stayed with me this long and until the end of this, I completely appreciate your support to the channel. I hope you did learn something new. And if you didn't, I hope you just enjoyed listening to my little message. You guys have a great night, day, or evening, wherever you may be. This is UnJustified.